Hey, welcome. This is School Health Presents. This is round two of our 30-minute trainings. My name is Tim Taggart. I'm with Palo Sports. You can see it right there. And today we're going to be talking about BRAINBall. So thank you very much, everybody who's signing up. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat at any time. Unfortunately, everybody is muted because we have 30 minutes. We have to keep going, but Shirley Burns is there. She will respond to all your questions as they come up. So please feel free. At the end of the presentation, at the end of the day, we're going to put all the questions together that we got from the three presentations, and we will send you an email with the Q&A as well. And also, you will get a link to this presentation too, so you can watch it again as much or anytime that you want to. So let's get into it. All right. So this is my presentation here. You want to reach out to me directly, you can click on my little avatar. It'll show you my email address, phone number, and you can follow me on Twitter. Love to have those conversations and see what you're doing. I love Twitter for that. So what is BRAINBall? If you are completely new to BRAINBall and you've never seen me talking about this at a trade show or a booth, that's what we are going to cover today. That's why we're here. So BRAINBall, very simply, is you get 100 mini rubber balls. 80 of them are basketballs and 20 of them are soccer balls. So you will get 40 green balls and you will get 40 yellow balls. I'm going to use the yellow ball because it has my favorite letter, T for Tim, right? I got a lot of T's in my name. And so how you can tell, you have a capital, you will have a number, lowercase letter, and then the number is repeated. And so you get 40 green, 40 yellow. That has all the alphabetic letters that you need. You get 8 blue balls, 8 red balls. They have all your math, your plus, multiplication, subtraction, equal signs, greater than, look at that, less than, just like that. Also, you get 4 generic balls that are orange. Now, these are your wild cards. And so what do I like about the wild card balls is very simply that anytime you need an additional letter and you are out, you've used up all your A's or B's, or you don't have any more equal signs, you can always throw that ball in. And as long as I ask you, what are you using it for, then you are good to go. So you will see here, you can click on a BRAINBall guide. This will walk you through. There's also a link on our website that has all this information, talks about how BRAINBall came to be. Here is one of the creators and the original creators of BRAINBall and also a current developer. So everything you need to know about BRAINBall or this additional stuff is there. I'm going to talk about the authors here a little bit. So there I showed you. So I blow this up, it gets all fuzzy, but when it's small, it looks perfect, right? So Andre Rokita is the original developer and creator of BRAINBall, along as with 2 other professors. They are all from the University of Physical Education and Team Sports in Wrocław, Poland. I don't know how to pronounce this person's name, so I apologize. But Marek was also one of the creators, but it is still being developed by these 3 people right here. They are still doing research on BRAINBall, still proving the effectiveness and how it works. And so we have Eric here and we have Sarah that are the 2 of the developers along with Andre. Now I talked about research. So here is just a quick infographic that we put together. This is just 7 studies. They're doing 1 to 2 studies every year, and we are on year 19 of BRAINBall. So that anniversary is coming up, I think, in next 1 or 2 months. I think in May will be the 19th anniversary of BRAINBall. So it's been used in Europe for a lot, but we brought it here, Palo Sports. We have the exclusive to BRAINBall in the United States, and we've been promoting this for 2 years and showing teachers how to use it. So some of the key things that you can get out of the research that's happened. One and foremost, the easiest thing is, if you use BRAINBall just 2 times a week with your students, I can guarantee you that they will improve their spelling, they will improve their letter, number, color recognition, they will improve their reading ability, and their math will improve. Not only will those academic things improve, but also they are going to improve on their fine motor skills and their gross motor skills as well. So some of the key things from the research here that we pulled out. So students who played in BRAINBall throughout the school year opposed to those who didn't showed better results in mathematical knowledge and skills. So when they did a lot of their studies, they use a placebo group and they use a group that is, using BRAINBalls as well. So one group of students does physical education like normal, goes to school, classes as normal. The other group is introduced to BRAINBalls, and so they can have 2 different test groups. They have done a lot of groups with a classroom teacher teaching PE using BRAINBalls, a classroom teacher teaching PE without BRAINBalls, a PE teacher teaching classroom, with and without as well. And so they've really done their homework to, be as thorough as they can. And as every time, of course, you do a study, a new study comes up, which is why they're able to do, another study or two every single year. BRAINBall will have a significant improvement in physical fitness and body coordination as seen in disabled children as well. And not only that, but dyslexic children also showed improvements in the number of words read per minute, reading with understanding, their time of reading, and number of errors decreased as well. So it is very good for children with dyslexia. BRAINBall also will help increase your graphic motor skills and your eye-hand coordination. Obviously, we have basketballs and soccer balls, so you're going to do, dribbling both with your hands and your feet, which meet standards of Shape America as well. All right, let's watch a little video here while I talk about it. So when you introduce, let me turn that down. I want you to hear it a little bit. So when you introduce BRAINBall to your students, it's going to look very much like it does in this video. You're going to have your students sit down in a circle. You're going to dump all the BRAINBalls here into the middle. And this is actually a class in Poland that is using BRAINBalls here for the first time. And so Eric, who is one of the developers, is taking them through a bunch of activities. You're going to have them just roll the balls to different areas of the gym. You can have them separate the balls by vowels, by consonants, by numbers, odds and evens, by colors. And now here what they're doing is they are collecting all the balls and bringing them back, as many as they can carry. When they get back to the middle, they are going to, I'm going to turn it down a little bit more. So when they get back to the middle here, they're going to add up their points, how many points they have on their balls by using, the numbers on their balls. And whoever has the most would be the winner in those situations. And so they're really trying to, do the best. Another question that will come up is, hey, Tim, does this ball have a 9 on it? Or does this ball have a 6 on it? Well, the truth is you have to find the capital letter, and when you rotate the ball, you can see it's a 9, and you rotate it, the Y on the other side is correct in the lowercase. And we did that so when you're looking at the balls and you look down, you can rotate them, and capital and lowercase are always going to be correct. Helps the students learn with their correct punctuation. But if we're doing some games and I want you to do math really, really fast, and you get a 6 or a 9 and you're not sure what it is, and the other number is 5 that you have to add to, if you say 14 because you think it's a 9, I'm going to say you're right. And if you say 11 because you thought this was a 6, I'm going to say you're right, because 5 plus 6 is 11, right? And 5 plus 9 is 14. So that is a great thing for you to be able to do. All right, let's move on. And I had the fortunate luck to actually visit the University of Physical Education in Wrocław, Poland, and we actually watched a demonstration in this same gymnasium. So kind of a cool thing that I got to do. I really was happy about that. All right, let us get to the games. Oh, before that, let's talk about some teacher feedback. So I have 2 teachers here from Harlandale, Texas, that shared quotes with me yesterday. And I'm going to talk about Christine Cabello's. Again, you will get a copy of this presentation. So you can come back here, you can click on the links, and you can read the quote from Scott as well. So Scott, if you're out there, please don't feel bad that I'm not going to read your quote. It's just simply because we only have 30 minutes, or I would love to read yours as well. But Christine said, as a PE teacher on campus, I see all the students. I was able to see as a whole that there was a campus academic need. Scores were low all around in language, arts, and math. I graciously received a BRAINBall set to use for the PE program. I instantly started with kindergarten, 1st and 2nd grade. I collaborated with all of the K2 teachers, both monolingual and dual language, and requested a list of current sight words they were using to start using while in PE. Collaborating the RTI team, reading and math scores, also helped me create a word wall for my class, identifying all of the sight words for me. Doing these activities in PE made an impact on their classrooms. Students who may have had trouble getting the concept in the classroom will be able to get it during PE. And I have a daughter who is a special needs daughter. She is ADHD, and learning in the classroom for her is very difficult. I actually got to see firsthand doing these videos with her. She was able to grasp a concept and do really well in a lot of these games. And we know not everybody learns the same way, myself included. My daughter, I'm sure, gets her ADHD from me. I learn better if I get hands-on and I do the activity, which is why BRAINBall works. And we know that when we're active, blood is flowing, we have more blood going to the brain, we will actually retain that information better and remember it for a longer period if we learn while we're being active. And you guys know that. I'm preaching to the choir here. So Christine continues to say, I was very involved in having PE be a vital part of the students' growth as a whole, and I believe the teachers noticed my effort and appreciated it. And she was nominated by her peers for Teacher of the Year, and humbly, she received the most votes for that honor. So congratulations, Christine. We're very proud of you and happy to know that BRAINBall was your, your stepping stone to becoming Teacher of the Year. We think that is awesome. Oh, I clicked on something wrong there. I apologize about that. So now let's get into the games. So word tag. I'm gonna play a video here with my girls. Perfect. So my daughter here, you've seen her before in some of my videos if you've attended my previous virtual trainings, and her best friend Lisa are going to demonstrate the word tag game. So very simply, if you have a green ball, you are essentially it. And if you have a yellow ball, you are trying not to get tagged by anybody who has a green ball. So how do we tag? We tag appropriately on the shoulder. The elbow to the shoulder is where you want to tag. You could tag somebody's ball, but obviously you're never allowed to throw the ball at somebody. So both players have to hold the letters in front. I do prefer the capital letter, but it doesn't have to be. Maya, you will see me correcting her. She likes to hold it so she can read it, but you have to hold the ball so the person facing you can read it. So now that Maya has tagged Lisa, you can see I'm just getting a kick out of her, keep changing it so she can read it every time I fix it. Maya has a D, and so Lisa has to say a word that starts with D. Dots. Good job, Lisa. So if I'm doing this with K to second graders, I'm going to let Lisa run off and she's going to be free. Maya would have to go and tag somebody else. So if Lisa made a mistake, couldn't think of a word, or just couldn't, time ran out, then she's going to lose. You're going to give Lisa the green ball, and Maya would take the yellow ball, and she would run away. But now we're going to play at the more advanced version. So now you see Lisa has a ball A, so they have to go back and forth. Maya said apple. Now it's Lisa's turn. They will go back and forth saying words that start with the letter of the other person's ball until either they repeat a word or they say a word that doesn't exist. Or look at like athletics. I didn't know that was a real word. So I learned that word through BRAINBall when I made this video. And it has to do with a math equation. And so they will go back and forth until one person makes a mistake or repeats a word or just can't think of a new word. All right. We are doing well here. And let's see. So if you are having problems, your kids, and sometimes kindergartners, first graders have a really hard time with the two ball concept. They don't know that if they win or lose, what to do after the round is over, that the person who wins gets the yellow ball and the person who loses takes the green ball away. So to make it easier for you, just use one ball. The person who has the ball then is going to be chasing other people. Again, you tag them on the arm between the elbow and the shoulder, and then you will square off and you would do this activity. Whoever loses the game at that point just simply gets the ball, and then they will run off. So there we saw Lisa repeat a word or said the wrong word and move on. So let's show you how this works with a group of students. Oh, there we go. Play. And I'm going to take it off mute, so you should be able to hear them. I hope you can hear them. Great. So Sophie, you get to chase Mila. Get Mila. Go. Oh God. So you can see they're being very active. You can add in, make them have to dribble when they're moving around. Add that skill if you want. Did you ready to say octopus? Yeah, there I caught Mila saying. You say the same word twice, you lose. Mila, you get the green ball. There you go. Nope, nope. Ocean. You made a mistake. You lose. All right. Okay, what I really love about this game is if you have the green ball and you lose every time you challenge somebody or tag somebody in the word game, it doesn't really matter. What's happening is you are tagging people who have different balls with different letters on them, and you have to come up with as many words as you know for those letters. And the other thing is, even if I had the Y the whole time, I'm going to hear new words that start with Y from different people, and my vocabulary is going to increase regardless if I win the challenge with the other person. And at the end of the day, that's what we're trying to do. We want them to improve their vocabulary, and that is how they're doing it. Now, we do have a physical distance version for you. And so what you would do here is you would have a bunch of hula hoops spread out. 6 to 10 feet apart on the ground. And the people who have the yellow ball, they are going to each be in a hula hoop. Players with a green ball can go and run around and they can choose whoever they want. They will just walk up to that person, face off, show them their ball, and then the person with the yellow will have to start saying words and they will go back and forth to each other until one person loses. In that case, the loser gets the green ball, will have to run to somebody else. And so if Maya on the right wins, she would get to leave the hula hoop with the green ball and run somewhere else. And the other person who loses would take the yellow ball and go inside the hoop, and you would have to stay there. So a little bit different. And of course, my daughter, embarrassing me, her first word was questionable at in good taste or not. But I threw it in there because I thought you would think it was funny. My kids are like everybody else's kids. They do funny things. All right, let's move on here to some other games. So word race. So we're going to continue on the words race, but I will talk about math in a little bit. And so very simply what we're doing here is I spread out all the yellow balls behind us so that you can see there's 40 yellow balls there. And on the other side, I have 40 green balls, and just using some saucer cones. Now I use 5 as my minimum, but you can have 6, 7, 8, 9. There's no limit to how many saucer cones you can have. It just lets them spell a bigger word, right? And so what they're trying to do now is simply spell as many words as they can. Sophie here has a notepad and paper, and she is writing down the words that they're spelling. And they simply chose Maya for this first one. So punctuation is very important. Punctuation, I don't think that's the right word, but they have to have a capital M because this is a name, and then all the other letters have to be lowercase. You can see here on the bottom how the pointing is scored. Every consonant, you get 1 point. For every vowel, you get 2 points. So let's see here how we do. We're going to spell Maya. Can you guys see if you can do the math? Put that in the chat. How many points is that? If you said 6 points, you are correct. Now, once they get the word spelled, they will make a lap around the cone and they will go back. Ideally, this cone should be farther away, but obviously I didn't want the camera to be too far away, so you can see everything nice and close. But you want them to have a bigger distance to run, and the whole team has to run before they can spell the next word. So now we have 2 teams going side by side, and each team is responsible for writing down their own words and keeping track of them. And at the end, they will add up all the points and see who is the winner. You don't necessarily have to spell the most words. So if you think you're going to spell, cat, dog, at, to, the, real small words, and just get a bunch of words, that you're not going to win. A team that takes longer and spells more words, especially is trying to figure out what's wrong with the capital S. She had it upside down, so I made her figure out to correct it. So they're going to spell Sophia, and that's going to be worth how many words? 1, 2, and then 2, 4, 6, right? So she's going to get 8 points for that word. It's a good word. Now they can spell names, they can spell places, anything they want, but you can also direct them. A lot of teachers do work with the classroom teachers, and they do get the sight words for the week, and they do post those sight words on the board. So the students can spell the word, and then they can go and look at the sight word on the wall and make sure that they spelled that word correctly and move on. And you will see an improvement in their, in their spelling scores just from doing that activity right there. And honestly, the classroom teachers will be overjoyed to work with you doing these activities. So let's do a math race. All right, this is a lot of fun. So let me mute that, it's a little bit loud. So right here, they are bounce passing the ball to each other. Sophie is gonna yell stop, and the other 2 have to do the math real quick, and the first person to get the correct answer is the winner. Now, because Maya won, they will start bounce passing again, and now Maya gets to say stop because she won. So the person who is always the winner, that will rotate over and over and over again. And there, Sophie beat them. But Sophie's a 5th grader. The other 2 are both 4th graders. So she has quite an advantage. Yeah, not quite, but she has an advantage for sure. So I did bounce passing, which is a more difficult thing to do, but I wanted you to see that it's possible with 4th and 5th graders to do a bounce pass. The other thing you can do to make it easier is you can just hand the ball to the person. You get a ball from your left and you just keep passing it around. Or you can stand a little bit farther away. I mean, I would like you to be, a little farther away, right? If you're doing this today, at least 6 feet, and then just toss the ball to each other. Or you could even sit down on the floor and you could roll them to each other. That would be easier as well for the younger kids. But it's up to you how hard you want to make that or how challenging you want to do. Now, you don't have to only do addition. You can do subtraction or multiplication. You can even do division, but division is quite a bit harder depending on the balls that they have. But then every so often, have them change their groups, do a mix-up. So these group has to split off and make a new group with 3 new people. What that does is it changes the balls because they will memorize the numbers pretty quickly, and they'll be able to do the math really quick, which is okay. That's good. It's working. But you always want them to have to challenge themselves and learn, harder, different equations and stuff. Keep them honest, basically. All right. We got 10 minutes left. Oh, did I go back into it? And why is it doing that? I apologize. There we go. Look at that. I'd love to say technology, but I'm sure that was my fault. All right, so Tic Tac Toe, one of my favorite games that we do. And very simply, I just take 9 saucer cones. I just put them in a little box there. You can see that. Behind us, I should have them farther apart. They should be 6 feet apart, in today's world, but in their normal circumstances, they'll be fine like this. And I would normally have at least 3 people in a team, and they would all have their own ball. You don't need to have those saucer cones for the balls. So here's how you win. You get your balls in order, 1, 2, 3. If they're not in order, if it's 1, 3, 2, then you're not going to win. So they will race up here, and they will put them in order. You can also use the letters. You can do A, B, C, X, Y, Z, E, F, G. But again, the letters have to be in the order of the alphabet. So if I did an A, Z, and a G, I wouldn't win. But if I did A, G, Z, I would win. So you can have them just grab random balls and do it alphabetically, and it's a little bit more challenging and fun for them. But for the younger kids here, this works perfect. Now you're going to see what's happening now, exactly what will happen the first time you do this, or probably the first 2 or 3 times that you do this. And so they're going to run, it's going to be a foot race to get 1, 2, 3, and the fastest team will be the winner. There you go. The 4th graders are celebrating, beat the 5th graders. I love it. Now, what happens so inevitably is one team realizes that if I have 2 in a row, I got to block that, or the other team has 2 in a row, I'm going to have to block them. Now, Lisa jumped through the middle. Don't let your students do that. That is a very dangerous move that Lisa made. There, I don't know if you caught it, but Maya left way early. I mean, Lisa wasn't even halfway back, and Maya was almost there. So Maya cheated, doesn't get the win for that. We caught her. All right, here we go again. Now you're going to see that they've done this a few times. Look how much harder it is for them. You can't get a quick win. It gets blocked right away. There, it's blocked. And so what happens is once you've used all 3 of your balls, you get to keep going, but you can move one ball, your ball or your opponent's ball. You can move either of them each turn. And so you can put a ball out of the way, or you can just move it so it's harder for them to win, or you can block them or try to get an advantage with your ball. Eventually, one team obviously makes a mistake and there is a winner. But I do like this. The more they do this, the harder it is for them. And once they are good here with the numbers 1, 2, 3, I could have easily moved on to the alphabet version and had them do the same thing with their letters and really reinforce, the order of the alphabet. It's fantastic. So let's see here. Let this play out. I'm going to turn on the sound so you can hear them.
Go in the middle.
So,
go on the outside.
So Maya just jumped in the middle, blocking Sophie. Not allowed to do, not a safe move. You have to stay on the outside. But let's look what happened. Green has their numbers out of order, so they lose. And the yellow balls are in order of 1, 2, 3. So they still win, even with Maya's little mishap there. Just let you see what it looks like from the other side real quick. Again, you shouldn't need these if you have enough players. The first 3 people in line will each just hold a ball, and they will just go in turn. If a player does knock a ball off, they have to, obviously put it back before Lisa cheats and runs up there to place the next one. So, all right, let's move on here to the next one. Still have some great things I want to talk about. Sunshine. All right, we're gonna do another math game. And whoops, before I do that, let me go back. So on this one, you can click on the numbers here. And this is actually what the book looks like. So this is the book that comes with, has 100 activities in it. And you can see, there's a whole bunch of them, and they all look just like what you're looking at on the screen. So you get a little cute cartoon graphic, shows you what it should look like when you're done. The objective, number, it doesn't have to be an even number. It can be any number, but obviously, one team shouldn't have, lots more than the other team. But if you're off by 1, no big deal. All the BRAINBall games can be done inside or outside, and you get a nice description here. Basically, what we're doing is you're going to put a ball in the middle, or they can grab a random ball, put that in the middle. But if you're doing against competitions, it's good that they have the same number on the inside. Now, what you're going to do is they're going to have to make as many math equations as they can that add up to 9. So let's get out of here and let's see how that looks with the video. All right, so here are my girls. We got them again, 2 different teams, all going against the green team. And you can see here, I've got my sum of 12. And I'm a little, sometimes your kids find the very easiest way to solve a problem, this is one of those moments. So Maya, 12 plus 0 equals 12. She's not wrong, so I have to let her do that. Now, Lisa moved her. Remember when I said the orange balls are the joker, a wild card ball? This is where an orange ball would come in handy. So Sophie and Mila over here are doing it a little bit more like the graphic shows. And so they are building an equation, and then Mila starts building an equation off of 12 and leaves this first one here. So you can see they're both working on their own equations at the same time. So it's a great strategy. They will definitely get more, math equations solved this way, working independently. So Sophie got 12 equals 6 times 2. That is correct. And Mila is making her own number. And let's go back here and see what we're doing. So these two players, Lisa and Maya, are writing down each equation after and then starting over. So I like this way because they'll never run out of the math or the math symbols that they need to do it. And that's still okay as long as they are writing everything down. So there they got 2 plus 10 equals 12. A little bit harder than the last one, but that's all right. They are doing a good job and they are learning, how to do math. So all right, let us get back here and just a few things left to talk about. We've got 4 minutes left. I'm on it, Ryan. And so professional development workshops. I do them. I used to do them all the time. It's been exactly a year since I've done one. And I have the itch to come back and do professional development workshops again in person. I already have some set up for June, and my first week of August is booked to do in-person workshops. So I'm really excited about that. And if you guys are planning workshops and need someone to come in, please reach out to me. I would love to come and do an all-day workshop for you. We will definitely talk about BRAINBall. I will do this in person. I've had some school districts that they bought BRAINBalls for every elementary school and every middle school in their school districts. In those cases, I spent 2 to 3 hours just on BRAINBall alone to make sure that they are ready to go on day one, that they can present BRAINBall and teach it the best way and have the most success with it. So I would love to do those things. BRAINBall, while it is great for elementary, clearly, secondary schools, if you have academic problems, if you're a middle school, teacher and your students are having a hard time, they're struggling with math, and you have AP students, and special ed students, BRAINBall is great for you too. Don't think that it's an elementary only. It is great for secondary as well. All right, so let's move from there. And so the last question, I'm sure you guys have asked this 100 times already in the presentation. How much is it and where can I get it? So if you go here to this little shopping cart, that is going to take you right to the Palo Sports website. And so nice thing here is you can see here there are sample lesson plans for you to click on. This is the same infograph that I showed you before that I used in my presentation. So you can look at that in more detail. You can click here and get the guide. If you're going to apply for a grant or for additional funding from somebody, I would definitely print out the guide. I would definitely print out the sample lesson plans and I would attach those. The graph is in the guide, so you don't need to print that out also, but I would definitely include those in your grant proposal. I don't know any grants specifically, but I can tell you that the CARES Act funding, you will fund these projects, BRAINBall all day long. You can use CARES Act funding. You can use Title I funding. We'll pay for this. Literacy department, the math department, they have bigger budgets than the PE department. If you take this to the literacy department and show them that you're going to start using literacy in PE and that literacy scores will improve across the board, it's a win. They'll probably buy you a set of BRAINBall. You're a PTA, PTO, go to the president, make a, it's not very hard. I know a lot of people who have went to them and they wrote a check basically right away because they saw the value in this. That's going to improve the, your academics for the school across the board. And it's $789.99 is all it is for you to do that. Now, if you live in a state like Florida, where I live, where teacher pay is merit-based, and so if the students do better, if their test scores do better on their standardized and their benchmark tests, you get a raise, right? And normally as physical education teachers, we don't impact that a lot, or we haven't been able to impact that a lot. And so, you can, make your case there one way or the other. But now there's no reason not to be able to use BRAINBall and for you to impact those scores. And I guarantee it, all you have to do 2 times a week, use BRAINBall with your students and you will see those scores improve. So we have 2 different types of balls. So the original ball, which is a rubber ball, it's it's not a low-end rubber ball. It is probably not the premium either, but it is a pretty good solid ball. You won't, have any complaints with this. We have a new, what's called the foam rubber set. If you are familiar with our Super Safe balls, it is the same exact ball. It just has the BRAINBall patterns printed on it. Sadly, we just got these in a month ago, and I work out of my home here in Florida, so I don't have my hands on the new set. But I've seen pictures, they look great. What the difference is, these balls are squishy. Can you see how I can squish the ball? Yeah, so that is the difference. They're a little bit softer, safer, you could argue. And then how do you store brain balls? Well, you get 3 bags, and if you fill them up, they look like this. So you'll have 3 of these bags full of 100 brain balls. You get the book, all for that price. And I don't know, what more can I tell you? So throw your questions in there if you haven't already, and we will email you with the Q&A after. So thank you very much for your time. I hope you learned it, and I hope you understand how brain balls work and the impact it can have with you and your students. All right, have a great day. Thanks, everybody.